We're gonna go over strength training for cheerleading, and we're gonna start right now. All right, so this is a sport where a lot of people, when I tell them, hey, we're working with some cheerleaders or we're gonna be training cheerleaders, they'll be like, what? Really? You're gonna be training cheerleaders? And the wild part to me is that it's really easy to realize how athletic cheerleading is. It's really easy to watch cheerleaders perform and do their drills, do their techniques, do their exercises, and recognize there's a lot of different facets that go into being a peak cheerleader. And a couple of those key factors that you have to train for when we're thinking about strength training for cheerleading is one, that first key factor. Obviously, we want to focus on basic strength, absolute strength. So how strong can we get these men and women? How strong can we get these athletes? We want to focus on when we're dealing with specific strength, okay? We want to look at dynamic trunk control. We have someone who's holding with one hand position overhead. That's trunk control, that's shoulder stability. So we need to do max strength work with shoulder presses, with dumbbell military presses, with alternating dumbbell military presses, with banded presses. And along those lines, if you're the individual who's being held and you're standing on one leg, you have to have good trunk posture, good trunk stability in your abs and in your core and in your hips. So we need to be doing things like single leg squats, pistol squats, walking lunges, all of these movements, and we can even do them with an offset weight because that's what we're going to be training for when we're holding these various positions. So that first key aspect, that first key element, that first key characteristic that we're gonna be training for is max strength and focusing on dynamic trunk control. That second key aspect is going to be stability and mobility. These things go hand in hand. Really, stability is under that mobility umbrella. When we're training, when we're doing resistance-based training, we should be working through full range of motion. I'm thinking right now at Penn State. I was just at the Penn State-Ohio State football game this year, watching the cheerleaders doing backflips, doing splits, landing in a full ass to grass squat, right? And then exploding back out of that. We need to be mobilizing the ankles, the knees, the lower back, the shoulders. So we have to focus on mobility and stability. That means doing things like narrow overhead squats, overhead split squats, okay, band pull-aparts, even doing things like a snatch press while we're squatting down in a hole. Also doing things like focusing on lengthening our ankles, lengthening our Achilles tendon, working our IT bands. These are all crucial aspects when you're training specifically for cheerleading so that your athletes are as mobile and stable as possible. That third key aspect is going to be focusing on technique. Okay, and the third key aspect and fourth key aspect sort of go hand in hand. If we're focusing on technique, everything in cheerleading is technique. If you're hitting these gymnastic positions, you have to be technical. If you're hitting a backflip, you're going to hit a really precise backflip with the best technique. You're not just gonna run full speed and flail all over the place and do a backflip. That's not how these things work. You have to execute with technical precision. Now, that fourth key aspect is going to be explosiveness. So this is where it goes hand in hand, technique and explosiveness, okay? If we can use things like a power snatch, a power clean, and I've even seen some of the best cheerleaders in the world turn into really fantastic weightlifters, so if you wanna do that, head over to Garage Strength and we can help you be a really elite weightlifter if you don't wanna cheerlead anymore. You can use things like a power clean, a low hang clean, a low hang snatch, a dumbbell snatch. These are movements that are gonna help you be more explosive. They're movements that are gonna train that technical mindset. If we train that technical mindset in these specific athletes, in these cheerleaders, now when they're doing their drills, when they're doing their exercises, they think things through technically. They understand how their body moves through various ranges of motion, through various mobile ranges of motion, and then they think about the stability and the max strength that they need. So now when we get back to this, technique and explosiveness, if we're doing a full clean or we're doing a power snatch or we're doing an overhead squat, anything along these lines, now we understand what those positions feel like. We understand that they also transfer really well to mobility and they also transfer really well to maximum strength. So there's a great transfer of training. I would recommend using Olympic lifting variations to improve your strength as a cheerleader and to improve your overall performance. And if you need help with a program to improve your mobility, to improve your explosiveness, your technique, and your mobility, head over to peakstrength.app where we have all 4 of these characteristics covered inside of our strength training for cheerleading-based program. It's gonna help you be a freak, improve your power output, and ultimately execute those exercises to the highest degree. Because remember, freaks, if you guys wanna become champions, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.